There is a question here, another question from Nikki Dukic, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. For people to be less scared, can you tell them how did they survive the disease? So to speak and survive. For people to be less scared, can you tell them how did you survive the disease to speak and survive?
Me?
The questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I had CV19.
Yeah.
Right at the start of, in March last year, I flew to Marrakesh, Morocco, and I got mad sick and got a test, and it showed that I had it at the time on the back end of it when I came out to Australia. And I had, like, the only way I could fly was to have the test, and then I had the antibody test, and I have an antibody. So I was like, awesome, I'm going to chill now. Like, I don't need, what's the point of having the shot? I've got the antibodies, you know? Not only that, in my experience, and I don't want to take away from anybody else's experience, I soldiered through it, first of all, because I just thought it was a cold or a flu, right? The other thing was on the back end, it was great because I came out of it feeling even better than before because I actually paid attention. I wasn't paying attention as much to my health, but I started becoming really vigilant with my health and I became even better and I felt even more alive. Yep. And so I think like it's either going to be a warning for you or it becomes the greatest fear that you ever live in and it will collapse you from the inside out. Like I'm not discounting that there's an actual engineered thing going around.
But I don't think the issue is the CV. The issue is the relationship people have with it. Because think of it this way. If this never came out in the news, in the media, it would just be the flu. It would be the cold. It would be whatever.
The news is the virus.
And people wouldn't have that fear. They wouldn't feel the need that I have to convince people about this. You would just get through the cold like you did. I have the relationship with CV that if I get it, good. Like my immune system, I trust it 100%.
People don't trust their immune system, and they know
it can handle it. This thing is beautifully engineered by God to handle what this earth gives me.
Well, look, man, this is what I know. I know 3 people that have died after having this, and I have an inbox of over at least 60 or more people that have messaged me that have said they either personally have experienced it or they have family members or friends that have had heart attacks, strokes, seizures, Bell palsy, that are like a paralytic because of taking this.
And how many?
So what have I got to go? I'm like, that's the reference.
Yeah.
I know one person personally, and I have a big network that has said, you know, my brother passed from it. And I'm like, man, I'm really sorry to hear that. That really sucks. And I'm not discounting it for people that have experienced that. I'm not at all, because I think you can. And I also think that you can from the cold, from the flu, from influenza. I think heart disease is the biggest killer. Stress is the biggest killer. Cancer is the biggest killer.
Why are we not addressing diabetes in the same way? Because it kills more people.
We should. Well, you don't make money from it. Exactly. Like, we don't make money from it. That's what it is. They don't make money from it. So, look, I just, like, you guys know, something in your spirit, something in your soul, you're just like, something's not adding up here. Don't buy into the lies. Don't buy into the fear. Don't buy into the deception. A lot of what I do now is like, it's like I know I've seen enough of what's going on between the intricacies of ingredients and the shot and the political. The unfortunate thing is this has been politicized. Another thing that people fail to actually know is when the emergency pandemic was announced, the World Health Organization was put into governing power, which means they take precedence over the whole world. They have power more than your government. Doesn't matter what country you guys are in. They have more power than your government because of the health emergency powers that are coming into play because of this pandemic. So then we start digging deeper. And we look into this and go, interesting. So who's who? Let's have a look at this. Who's who, right? UN's connected to it. UN is a toothless tiger, posing as peaceful, but they're not, okay? So many different cases of this, so many things that have gone through court systems showing how corrupt they are, okay? Then we look at the CDC, who's connected with them too. Now, the WHO gets 50% of their funding from massive billionaires that are in their network. All right. CDC owns over 56 patents of vaccines.
And they make $2.2 billion a year in license fees.
Absolutely. So like, would you say that this is science, bro, or would you say it's business?
It's business.
It's business, right? So the science
is always developed to create the narrative of what is in the best interest of the business.
The problem with science I think science is a great vehicle. Science doesn't teach compassion. You can't learn compassion from science. It's super objective. It's using it as a vehicle to find the resources and the things that are there. But when you start manipulating science to coerce, now we have a problem, right? And this is what's been happening. And people keep saying, trust the science. What does that mean anymore? It doesn't mean anything anymore if it's used to manipulate you for big pharma to make their dollars.
Yeah.
If there's financial interest and you're losing out, why would you support it? That's the question, right? Like, I look at this, man, the elitist, if you want to bracket them in that space, and elitist doesn't mean there's like 3 people that are controlling the whole world. I don't want to go too conspiracy with it because that's just, we don't know, right? But let's say there's a group of maybe around 6,000 at most in a network where they're like, yeah, let's trump off this and let's make some cash, right? We don't care. Let's go on a warpath. Whoever loses, that's your fault, right? Game of Thrones, let's roll this thing out. They got bored. They want to have fun. They want to make money. They want power, okay? And we look at it and we go, cool. Some of them in there genuinely don't know that this thing initially that's gone into the world and supposedly killed people is a bioweapon. Some of them are like, I don't know if it is or not. Then you got China saying, well, we didn't make it as a bioweapon. And the US is going, maybe you didn't, maybe you did. So no one still knows. We're 18 months in and they've got the best tech in the world and apparently no one still knows. Ridiculous. But we look at this and we go, okay, cool. So some of the people are just looking for this window of opportunity. This window of opportunity is open up. They're going, now it's my time to make cash. Okay, if I have a capitalistic mindset, if I don't have, my alignment in good morals and values, maybe I'd choose that. I don't know. That's not me, but maybe if my character was in that place, maybe I'd go, cool, let's make some billions in this now. Then you have people that are in the health system that have gone through it. They've been indoctrinated in it. Some people legitimately have seen people sick and they're going, I want to do the right thing. Let's do it. I get that. But if they're making money there too, it's a good incentive, isn't it? If they're also getting backed by people that seem to be in high power positions, that's a good incentive, isn't it? To just keep going with the narrative.
Yeah.
Right? But the issue is that it gets to a point where there's so much confusion that nobody knows up or down, left or right anymore. So we all lose our moral compass. I can sit here and say I'm a good man, and you can say I'm a good person. But what happens when your back is against a wall? What if fear is ruling your mind right now? Where do you go? If we don't have this connection with God, if we don't have a connection to a higher power, we don't have a moral compass in play, we don't know how to emotionally regulate, we take things personally, we haven't worked through our wounds, we don't have a greater vision for the future, we haven't structured our life, what do? We turn into the very system that is shadowing us right now. We become the beasts too. So like when people blame society, I look at it like, yo, you are society, I'm society too. We are all part of this, whether you like it or not, whether you want to split yourself in division and sit on this side or not.
Participating, spending money on things, which is adding to society.
Yeah, let's unpack this. And I just want to say this. Monty and I are going to say a lot of things on this episode today. There's going to be a lot of information. There's going to be a lot of talk. But I want to challenge you, if you're watching this right now, if you could take just one thing, that's it, just one thing from this podcast, and you apply it to your life. If this could not only change your life, but have an impact around your friends, your family, your followers too, I want you to imagine how much of a shift that could actually create, right? Because that's all. We just one step at a time. And I think a lot of people are in overwhelm right now going, I need to connect all the dots. It's not how this works. None of what I did in my business was that. None of what I did with making money was that. You know it too, and what your successes that you've had. It's one step at a time. So don't put the pressure on yourself to work everything out. And it wasn't designed for you to work out what's going on with this. What we get to do is we are in control of how we structure our life, right? We are in control of how we respond to people that are rejecting us, that are ridiculing us, that are, taking stabs. I've seen some nasty messages, right? Look, I've done a lot of work around my wounds, around my trauma. I've done incredible forgiveness work with my mom, with my dad. I've done incredible forgiveness work with my ex-partners. I've forgiven myself, and I've gone to forgiveness with God. For me, I put my self-worth in the love of my creator. I don't need it from anybody else. I already have it. It's there. It's done. It's finished, right? And so for me now, it's getting into mission. It's doing what we got to do.